This week on the show, we're going to take a look at eBay, continuing to pursue change and innovation while basic site functionality continues to fail. What is up, Galaxians? Welcome to episode number 279 of the Galaxy CDs, Rocks, and Flips Reseller Talk podcast. My name is Ryan, and I'm going to be your host. In today's episode, we're going to take a look at some new updates and some investments that eBay is making, continuing to try to make changes and innovation, while basic site functionality continues to not be functional. I've also got a couple of other updates and a interesting what sold recap at the back end of the show that you'll want to stick around for. As always, there will be timestamps in the show notes and the video description below. If you want to go to a particular segment, you can do that. But that having been said, let's get into this reselling news.
News updates.
We're going to start with what seems to be a recurring theme here, some technical problems over the Christmas holiday week for eBay sellers. This first one, this article appeared over on Value Added Resource, and as always, these will be linked in the show notes and the video description down below. eBay sellers are missing emails for sales, messages, and more. eBay sellers report they are not receiving email notifications for sales, messages from buyers, and more, despite settings not changing and checking their spam folders. Problems with email notifications appear to have started in the last couple days. This article was published on the 28th, so this appears to have started right around Christmas Day, with multiple reports in both the eBay community forums and across social media. One said, "Since yesterday, I've not been receiving sold emails, nor am I getting emails when a buyer is sending me a message. Not receiving them on my computer, nor on my phone. It started suddenly yesterday when a buyer bought 2 items from me, received a sold notification for the first one, but not the second. Then this morning, made another sale, but no email notification. Now, a buyer asked me a question, but again, only saw the notification in the app, not in an email. I'm still receiving the 'Your shipping label is ready' emails with no problem. Anybody else having this problem?" Another user said in the past day, "I haven't had any missed emails regarding my own sales, but have had one shipping label email never show up and an order confirmation for something I bought never show up." So this is, as is typical with this over on eBay, a case where different users are having a different experience. Some are receiving some emails, but not others. Others are having issues with other types of emails. No consistency across users or email types, unfortunately. So this potentially could be a little hard for eBay to pinpoint exactly what's going on. There were several other users who reached out experiencing the same kinds of issues. Of course, the recommendation is sellers should regularly check in Seller Hub for new orders and messages until the issue is resolved. And if you find you are not receiving messages, you can report the problem to eBay by clicking the question mark icon in the lower right of the page in the desktop experience, or by shaking your phone while using the eBay app. So if you're experiencing this problem, do report it to eBay. That would, of course, help them track down where the issue is occurring. I have emails turned off for eBay. I always get the notifications through the mobile app on my phone. I already get far too many notifications and emails as it is, so I don't have that functionality turned on, so I cannot speak to this one personally. Let me know in the comments below if you're listening over on Spotify or watching on YouTube. Did you experience any of these issues? Another technical issue for eBay. This one in the mobile app can't send offers. I don't know if this one has been resolved or not. This issue cropped up on the day after Christmas. eBay sellers report mobile app glitch dampened the Christmas spirit, preventing offers from being sent to potential buyers over the last few days. Can anyone help me, please? On send offers to buyers, I can send offers via my mobile phone, but starting today, it won't let my husband send offers from his phone. It just comes up in red saying offer not sent. Again, here within a household, 2 phones potentially on the same network. One can send offers just fine. The other one gets an error. So another example of an inconsistent technical issue plaguing eBay. And again, this one at a really bad time. There's a lot of people who got gift cards or money for Christmas that are ready to buy. You'd like to send them offers. and you couldn't. No bueno for eBay. Turns out quite a few people were and are seeing this problem, with users on Reddit offering some possible workarounds until eBay gets the issue fixed, including trying to use the option for a percentage off instead of a dollar amount, or just using either the mobile or desktop browser instead of the app to send offers. Those are obviously sound advice, good ideas. You shouldn't have to do that. This stuff should just work. This is really, really basic site functionality. eBay obviously is very, very keen to have you send offers. They give you plenty of opportunity to do that. If a customer watches an item or power browses an item, you get an opportunity to send an offer. And then when the functionality doesn't work, it defeats the purpose of the entire thing. So again, let me know if you experience this problem. I rarely send offers out of the mobile app. I almost exclusively do it on desktop first thing in the morning, and then throughout the day as I'm working on other things down here in the Bat Cave on the PC. I will just go in and look at my items eligible to send offers, and I'll send them there. So I, again, did not experience this particular problem personally, but obviously a lot of folks did. So while all that's going on, eBay announced a big investment in a new kind of e-commerce optimization company that is using AI to power the way they create listings. eBay Ventures is backing e-content for AI-powered e-commerce optimization. eBay Ventures joins Mars IAF, TwinPath, Techstars, and notable angel investors in $1.4 million in funding for eComtent, a London-based startup focused on helping sellers and retailers optimize for AI-powered search. Founded in 2002 by Max Sinclair, a former Amazon executive who led key initiatives such as the launch of Amazon in Singapore and Amazon Grocery across the EU, and Timur Lugev, a PhD and postdoc researcher in machine learning, eComtent leverages technology to help e-commerce sellers and retailers optimize product listing content for AI-powered search. The way people shop online is undergoing a profound transformation, said Sinclair, and therefore also how sellers and retailers optimize for discoverability and conversion is changing. Long-tail keyword matching is dead, he says. The future lies in aligning with customer intent across both written and visual assets. That's an interesting take. Let me know what you think of that in the comments below. I'm not sure I'm completely convinced that's true just yet. I think there's probably some synergies there, but I'm not sure I would agree in principle that long-tail keyword search is completely dead. The platform generates visual and written content optimized for Amazon Rufus, Google Gemini, ChatGPT Search, and other AI-powered search, and is a popular tool for Amazon sellers to produce high-quality lifestyle images, infographics, A+ content, and copy at scale. Following the new funding backed by eBay Ventures and the company is launching eComtent 2.0, expanding from Amazon to include integrations with eBay, Walmart, Etsy, and Faire, all coming soon. There is a video included here. I will link to these, of course, in the show notes in the video description down below. So if you want to go watch this video to see how this thing works, that is available on YouTube. Funding these companies has obvious benefits for eBay, whose own AI efforts, the article says, have been hit or miss and continues to trend more toward tech-focused endeavors compared to companies backed by eBay Ventures in their early days. So again, here, this is all well and good. They've got to continue to invest in forward-looking new ways to optimize for search and so on. I totally get this, but I have reached a point of frustration where I feel like they need to make an investment in both time, effort, and money, in all three, I guess I should say, to fix basic functionality that is currently inconsistently performing up to the standards that both buyers and sellers would require. And those kinds of these big productions, adding AI and adding all these features and making all these changes to the site, if you don't have basic functionality, none of this other stuff is going to matter. That's just my take as a guy sitting in my basement staring into a camera. I just don't think if the basic part of the site that is designed to connect buyers and sellers works on a 99.9% basis, you've got an issue with your basic core functionality. Moving on, eBay provides item insights showing promoted listed ad usage by category in the listing form. This is an interesting one. And again, it is a layering in of a new feature on top of existing things that is probably designed, not probably, it's definitely designed to make eBay more money by trying to persuade you to use more promoted listings in your items. But again, it is a feature being added in at times where some of this functionality is not even working properly. To begin with, eBay has added new insights to the listing form in an effort to hook sellers into using promoted listings general cost per sale advertising. Sellers have noticed a new section in the mobile app listing experience showing the percentage of listings in the category set in their draft are currently using promoted listings. So this is an interesting tactic. For example, the article continues. It showed Liz today that 31% of the items in trading card singles are using promoted listings general ads, while 39% of items in collectible card game sealed boxes are promoted. There is a graphic on screen that you can look at here where you can see the little box down below where it says promote your listing. It gives that information. I got to be honest, when I've been doing my listings, I haven't been paying enough attention to notice if this has even showed up or not. I've got a promoted listings campaign already running, so I don't really look at this. Let me know in the comments down below if you've seen this in your mobile app. The results also reflect common selling experience that clothing and auto parts are highly saturated categories, with sweaters promoted at 64%, shocks, struts, and assemblies at 70%. It is important to note, the article adds, these percentages are not the average or suggested ad rates, but rather reflect the amount of listings in those categories that are enrolled in a campaign. So they're not trying to get you to promote at a 30, 40, 50, 60% rate. They're showing you that in that particular category, that is the percentage of items that are currently being promoted at some rate or other, ranging anywhere from 2 to who knows what at the high end. eBay also appears to be A/B testing the design and defaults for selecting an ad rate in the module. About half the drafts that Liz tested defaulted to a single box pre-filled with a rate higher than the suggested ad rate, which is interesting, which is shown below the box with an option to select a preset ad rate by just tapping a link. The other half of the drafts she tested defaulted to the preset ad rate display with 3 options, a suggested rate in the middle with a lower and higher preset rate on either side. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, you can kind of see an example of that, those 2 different experiences. So they're testing to see which of those will get more people to A, promote, and B, of course, promote at arguably a higher rate. Interestingly, she notes the preset middle option is actually less than the pre-filled rate in the custom view, since this view is in the middle of the suggested ad rate, and the next highest option is higher than the pre-filled rate in the custom view. So they're also tweaking the percentages, again, experimenting to see how much they can get people to spend in this way. Of course, the seller still has the option to use the custom ad rate to set any rate they want, but they won't be notified the minimum is 2% anywhere on this screen unless or until they try to input a rate lower than that, which many less experienced sellers probably won't even think to try. Again, you may recall they raised that rate a little while back. No matter which of these designs end up being displayed, odds are, just like at the casino, that the house always wins. Sellers discussed this new module in the eBay community with some questioning exactly how eBay is measuring to get this data and sharing the results they found in different categories. I'm not going to read all these for you, but rates anywhere from 9% up to, as we just saw, sometimes in the 60s or 70s. So some pretty big amounts of listings that are being promoted. Others questioned what might happen if and when promoted listings ads reach a saturation in a category and whether or not sellers can even trust the data provided by eBay. Seems like the whole ad thing is reaching a saturation and will soon accelerate into a bidding war and become untenable. That killed Google ads back in the day, said one user. Yeah, I've been seeing this for a few weeks now, said another. The irony, of course, is that eBay can publish any old percentage that it wants, and sellers have not a clue whether the figure in question bears any relation to reality. I'd reckon that the percentage shown varies by seller. The number is somehow a function of our own selling trends and is tended to stoke the fear of missing out, which is at fever pitch around this time of year, I'd imagine. I suspect, the writer continued, that George Orwell would be mighty impressed by eBay's psychological operations. The skepticism, Liz says, is understandable considering the recent shady tactics, which we have covered extensively on this show over the last month or so, that eBay has undertaken with stealth rate hikes on both promoted listings priority cost per click and the promoted general cost per sale ads, as well as a marketing terms update that we covered last week that includes changes to promoted listings ad attribution next year and built in more wiggle room to raise rates even further with no specific notice to sellers. So again, a potentially useful tool to know in a particular category, hey, my listing is going to go up against however many tens of thousands of listings, 20, 30, 50% of which are also being promoted. That is potentially useful information for you to have as a seller, assuming that you trust the accuracy of said information, which a lot of sellers clearly do not. So let me know what you think of that in the comments again down below. I think this is the last bit of news this week, and this is not good news. I don't know that there are probably a lot of resellers that use this particular service, but UPS is hiking their mail innovation rate by roughly 25%. This came in a surprise Christmas Eve announcement. UPS has dropped a big Christmas Eve surprise, notifying shippers who use their mail innovation service their rates will be increasing by about 25% on January 1st. So almost no notice on this. Let me know. Is this a service that you have used in the past or currently use? And what do you think of this humongous price increase? Shipment founder Brandon Staten posted the notice on LinkedIn saying customers had essentially zero time to adjust to these much steeper rates. UPS is putting the blame for the increase directly on the United States Postal Service, saying Parcel Select increases, eliminating discounts for DDU entry and other Postal Service actions have put the company in an untenable position. And we've talked about over the last 6 months some of the changes that the post office has made, eliminating certain discounts for these third-party shipping companies that have made it much more difficult for them to compete, including things like the UPS SurePost, where they want to get rid of the dual barcode labels and all that kind of stuff. They are wanting essentially to limit those partnerships, so of course they can capture that business themselves directly. On November 15th, the United States Postal Service announced that it intends to raise Parcel Select rates by 9.2% effective January 19th, 2025. This comes, the article says, after the Postal Service raised its Parcel Select rates 5.9% on average in January of last year, then implemented a further rate increase of 25% in July. In addition, they've eliminated the Parcel Select lightweight product and discounts for that DDU entry. UPS Mail Innovations has taken and will continue to take steps to minimize the impact of the Postal Service's product changes and rate increases on our customers. However, as a result of recent Postal Service actions, UPS Mail Innovations has to adjust the 2025 rates. We do not take this increase lightly, they said, and we have done diligence to minimize the impact on our customers. Please see the following pages for your new 2025 rates, which will be effective January 1st. They are a contracted service offering negotiated rates, so it's not possible to show an exact rate breakdown according to this article, but they went on to talk about what their analysis of this would look like. According to Shipment's analysis, the new pricing, as we said, represents a roughly 25% increase, with light packages seeing the largest differences. Lightweight packages face the steepest hikes. Across the board increases are apparent. Shipment's preliminary analysis shows that the lightest parcels, traditionally the lifeblood of many e-commerce brands, are seeing the highest percentage increases. Parcel Select Lightweight has been eliminated altogether. The most notable news from the announcement is the confirmation of a long-rumored elimination of the USPS Parcel Select Lightweight product. UPS MI's subsequent on sub 1 pound shipment sends a strong signal that other major carriers like DHL and regional forwarders are likely to announce similar changes, which will, of course, send ripple effects throughout the e-commerce sector. So be aware. This probably is not the end of this story. We'll probably be revisiting this with some other companies down the road. What this means for shippers, they say, tighter margins, the 25% jump, particularly on those lighter parcels, can eat into already tight margins. Minimal adjustment time, also not good. A mere 1 week notice leaves businesses scrambling. for contingency plans, and other carriers, again, are likely to follow suit. As the USPS has retired Parcel Select Lightweight, other shipping providers often align their product offerings and rates to ensure market competitiveness. So, more changes in shipping. Be aware of this and how it may affect other shipping options as we move forward. This may not affect a ton, like I said, of resellers directly, but again, it goes to the ever increasing cost for small businesses like you and I to ship stuff. That, my friends, is going to represent the end of the news this week. Let me know in the comments, though, what you think on that take from earlier about eBay and their current continued push to add new features, change things on the site for better or worse, for cosmetic changes or actual functional changes, the increasing wiggle room they have allowed themselves in some of their policies and procedures, some of their increasing lack of transparency, all the while virtually every week for the last couple of months, we have reported here on this show, as Liz over on Value Added Resource, basic functionality failing over at eBay. So I'd like to have a discussion about that. Let me know in the chat. Moving on, let's get into some What's Sold. As is usually the case, kind of at the week of Christmas, the days leading into Christmas, the 3 or 4 days right prior, were pretty slow. Christmas Day was actually terrific for me, and then the rest of the week continued at that pace. If you follow me over on Instagram at Galaxy CDs Rocks, you will note I think I sold, I don't know, 80 something items, 80 some transactions last week, while listing 160. So I continued my listing kind of at the normal pace. Sales were a little soft. This weekend has actually been pretty good. So we'll see. I have already set a record for December with a few days to go. So that has been pretty good. This will be, at the end of it, a record year for me. So yay me. I hope you had a great holiday selling season. With that, let's get into a couple things that sold. Here we go. Whatnot on the board this week. Really nice sale over there. I think this ties for my highest single sale over on Whatnot. This is In Gathering, The Complete People Stories by Zena Henderson. This is a 1995 Nesfa Press hardcover in its dust jacket. This is a book that encompassed all of the stories that Zena wrote for this series called The People Stories in like science fiction digests and magazines throughout the years, including one previously unpublished story. And this was a really interesting piece. I took a chance on this. I've talked about how I'm not putting a lot of high value stuff over on Whatnot for fear of selling it for way below market value. In this particular case, it worked to my advantage. This was a $2 start bid and ended up selling for $20. I don't record shipping or sales tax on these because it is totally handled by Whatnot, and I never really see that money. So the order total, as far as I was concerned, was $20. I paid $2.63 in fees. This book cost me 63 whole cents as part of a bulk purchase. My costs $3.26. My net profit on this book $16.74. Whatnot continues to be up and down for me. I think I sold, what was it? Maybe 15 items over 2 sales last week, something like that. So still not great, but still moving in the right direction and still allowing me to get rid of some lower value stuff, like I talked about last week, that ordinarily I would have just ended up donating. Mercari on the board for the week. The System Bible Study Enlarged Edition, King James Version in genuine Morocco leather. This is a black leather Bible from 1964 in really, really nice shape. I picked this up as part of a big lot for 50 whole cents. It sold over on Mercari for $21 with free shipping. The order total $22.68. No fees over on Mercari for another, whatever it is, 9 days as I record this. Again, shipping costs $6.13. Cost of goods sold 50 cents. My total cost $8.31. I made $14.37 on this Bible that sold over on Mercari. It was in fantastic condition for a leather Bible from 1964. It appeared as if it had never even been opened. It was really, really clean. Moving over to eBay, The Wrong Box by Robert Louis Stevenson, published by Lloyd Osborne, in 1889, published by Scribner's. This was a hardcover in fairly decent condition considering its age. I'd had it for a little bit of time, got a watcher, sent out an offer, and this thing sold for $22.49 plus shipping. I paid $4.42 in fees, $2.09 for a promoted listing fee. My total costs $14.29, including 38 cents cost of goods sold. This was part of the big 650 book lot from a few months ago. My net profit $15.60. I talked about these books a few weeks ago. I sold another one of these Roy Dean books. This one sold over on Etsy. A Time in Eden by Roy Dean from 1969, a first edition illustrated hardcover in its dust jacket by Road Delta Press. These books are ostensibly ecology, environmental books, but each of the photos in the book includes a naked male model. Really interesting pieces. I had two different books by this particular photographer, artist. One of them we sold a few weeks ago. This one sold on Etsy to someone over in the UK for $29.99 plus $32.60 in shipping. Fees, I paid $6.27. Thankfully, there was no offsite ad fee on this one. My shipping cost was the same, $32.60. This was also part of a big purchase that I am into for 50 cents. So my net profit on this was $23.22. Over to eBay. This one kind of drives home the point I made in episode 278.5, where I was talking about low cost books and whether or not they were worth selling. I picked up, it was either late spring, early summer. I got an opportunity to do a free book pickup and a state clear out, essentially, where I picked up, it was 350 some books that I did not pay anything for at all. Not all of them were high value books. There were a few. We've covered them in past episodes, but I picked up as part of that, there must have been 80 of these automobile quarterly books that cover the history of the automotive industry and different types of cars, really beautifully illustrated books that just didn't really have a ton of value. I ended up listing all but a couple of them for $5.99 plus shipping. I was into them for nothing. It was a free pickup for me. I've probably sold, I would guess, over the months that I've had them listed, maybe 40 or 50 of them so far at roughly $5 to $6 a piece, depending on whether they were sold on offers. So again, free to me, no cost of goods sold, $5.99 plus shipping. I've probably made close to $250 on these. This is an example, again, of an opportunity with some low value, low cost books to get a pretty nice sale in aggregate. This person bought 6 of these, paid a total of $35.94. There was no offer. They paid full price for all 6, so $35.94 plus shipping. $10.62. The order total with tax was $47.90. I paid $5.72 in fees, $9.51 to ship these. They went out ground advantage rather than media rate because that was a little cheaper. Cost of goods sold, again, a big fat goose egg. So my net profit, $31.33 on these 6 books. Again, everybody gets the opportunity. That was quite a lively discussion on that video about whether or not it makes sense to sell these books. For some sellers, it doesn't. It's not worth the time or effort. For me, I made $31 and some change net on these 6, essentially $6 books. I'll take those deals all day long. Another one over on eBay. This was 2 old history books from the early 1900s. With the World's People, Volume 2, Persia, Land of Cyprus and India, was published in 1912. And then the second book, The World's History and Its Makers, Volume 1, Ancient and Medieval, illustrated hardcover, also from, I think, the 19-teens. So both of these books sold for a total of $37.98 plus shipping. The customer's order total, $46.36. I paid $7.40 in fees, $3.25 in promoted listings fees. It was $8.38 to ship them. I'm into these as part of, again, that big 650 book lot for 38 cents a piece, so 76 cents cost of goods sold. My net profit on these 2 books, $26.57. Cool old Webster's New International Dictionary, second edition, unabridged, printed on India paper, that real lightweight kind of paper that you see most often in Bibles. Really interesting book. This was part of the big 1,800 book lot that I completed a couple of months ago. Listed for $49.99, received an offer of $45, which I went ahead and took. The buyer paid $12.13 in shipping. This was a massive book. Barely fit in a 14 by 10 by 4 box. It was a big book. Order total $60.91. I paid $8.60 in fees, $4.26 in promoted listings fees. Again, it was cheaper to send this ground advantage than media mail by a pretty substantial amount. I paid $7.72 rather than $12.13 to ship this thing. Cost of goods sold again was just 50 cents. My net profit, $36.05. This was the 1949 printing. I think the new edition, this second edition, was originally published in 1945. There are a bunch of them out there in various conditions. Mine was super clean. I priced it kind of at the high end of the market and basically got real close to my asking price, $45 gross sale out of a 50-cent initial investment. This is a book, again, from that big book lot. And the Bridge is Love by Alma Mahler-Werfel from 1958, a first edition illustrated hardcover in its dust jacket. Last week when I was talking about those cheat books, I went through the list of the things that I had listed on a particular day. This was one of those. It sold in less than 48 hours for its asking price, $52.99. Shipping was $5.38. The order total $64.35. I paid $9.06 in fees, $4.50 for the promoted listings general fee, $5.38 to ship it. Cost of goods sold again just 50 cents. This book made me a net profit of $38.93. These were really cool. I talked, I think last week, about an estate sale that I was at where I felt like I probably paid more than I wanted to for some of these books, but there was some really cool stuff and some really unusual things that just nobody else had listed. This is two of those. I picked up three bound editions of the old Prevention magazine. This is volume 5 and volume 6 from, I believe, 1953 and 54, or it's 54 and 55. I can't recall exactly. I do have one more volume of these that did not sell with these two. I couldn't find really any comps on these at all. The individual magazines are selling for kind of $4 or $5 a piece, so I listed these things for $59.99 plus shipping, and one buyer ultimately bought two of them. The item sold price ended up being $119.98 plus shipping. Shipping was $18.14. The order total $146.40. I paid $20.10 in fees, $10.24 for the promoted listings fees. It cost me just $9.30 to ship these, including insurance. Cost of goods sold, I paid $2 a piece for these, so $4 total. My total costs $51.92. Net profit on this deal, $94.48 for essentially 24 magazines bound in hardcovers. And this one is our flip of the week. This is actually from the same buyer who came back the next day and bought three more books, oddly, all from that same sale, which is interesting. They bought The Earth's Face and Human Destiny by Einfried Pfeiffer from 1947. This is, I think all three of these actually are Rodale Press first printings. Stone Mulching in the Garden by J.I. Rodale from 1949, and The Earth's Green Carpet by Louise Howard from 1947, also from Rodale Press. They sold for a grand total of $153.97. The big one here being The Earth's Face and Human Destiny, which sold for $92.99. The other two books individually were pretty nice at $32.99 and $27.99, but that Earth's Face is definitely one to be on the lookout for. The order total here, $170.52, including shipping and tax. I paid $23.35 in fees, $11.94 for a promoted listing fee, $6.88 to ship these. Cost of goods sold, again, $2 a piece, so $6 total. Total cost $57.83. Net profit on this was $112.69. And I think I was incorrect. I think I have one more here. No, I don't. Where is it? I was pretty sure I had one more. I guess I forgot to put that one in here. I'll have to share it with you next week. There is a really interesting one. I'm not sure why it's not in there. It's tough here at the Galaxy. That, my friends, is going to put a wrap on this week's episode. I hope everybody had a terrific Christmas and is gearing up for a equally terrific New Year's. Hopefully your business has been good and continues to be good into the new year. Let me know in the comments down below. Somebody asked me this question the other day, and I'm curious what your answer is. Are you planning to do anything different in 2025 with your reselling business than you've done in 2024 or at any point in the past? Are you going to make any changes in how you do business, the types of items that you source, the platforms that you sell on? I was on Instagram earlier this morning and I saw a couple of posts where a lot of folks seem to be indicating that they're going to be leaving, in particular, Mercari. They've just decided that there's not enough business there to warrant the investment of time. I am not one of those people. I'm going to continue to sell over there just at least through the next couple of months and see how it does. It has been, again, fairly consistent. It's not a huge piece of my business, but it was multiple thousands of dollars last year, and I'm just not willing to walk away from that at this point for the little amount of effort that I have to spend over there. But again, as I talked about last week, every seller gets to make their own decisions, and I'm curious what yours are as you think about 2025. So let me know in the comments. Let's have a discussion about what we're doing for next year. With that, my friends, it's time to sell. Thanks. You have been listening to the Galaxy CDs Rocks and Flips Reseller Talk podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you again next time.